Was I out of focus for that the entire time? I'm gonna be so mad. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. I have to say welcome. I have had quite a few new subscribers. My name is Allison, and I have two little boys, Grayson and Parker, 3 and 5. It's reverse. Parker is 3 and Grayson is 5, and I love to do makeup, and I'm so happy to have you here. And for all of you guys returning, thank you so much. I was just on HSN with Pure. I did the makeup behind the scenes as well as modeled the light shade. You guys were so awesome on Instagram, following my stories, sending me messages, sending me screenshots, watching me on there, and you have no idea how much that means to me. So thank you. That being said, what we are doing today is a review slash demo of the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette. Are you thirsty for thirsty? Okay, cut. I honestly had not, up until the point of seeing the Thirsty palette, been drawn to any eyeshadow palettes, any new releases of eyeshadow palettes, because I feel like it's all been done. But for some reason, the color story in there, the way they arranged the shades, it just was calling my name. So I could not wait to get my hands on it. If you guys want to see how I got this look, and if you want to hear my thoughts and opinions on the palette, be sure to keep watching. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. It helps me out so much, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And if you feel like it, share the video with your friends and family. All right guys, let's get into the video. All right, so the way I'm gonna do this video is give you my thoughts and opinions first, and if you want to see how I actually apply the makeup, I'll go ahead and do that after, because I know some people really just want to hear what my thoughts and opinions are, and they don't care how I created this look because maybe they just don't like it. I know I'm late to the party, so I'm not really sure how many of you guys are gonna see it, but I just have some pretty strong opinions about this palette, so I wasn't sure if I was gonna film the review, but I decided I really wanted to get my thoughts out there. I was really excited about this palette, and maybe there was a little bit more pressure, I guess, I was placing on this palette to perform, because I'd heard so many amazing things about Jeffree Star's cosmetic line and his products. I don't know how I feel about him as a person, and that's why I've been so hesitant to buy anything from him, to purchase anything from him. But because I had such a strong inclination towards this palette, like, you guys, seriously, think about my uploads. Like, I have not purchased like really any new eyeshadow palettes this year, with the exception of my Amazon products. And if you haven't seen that series, I'll go ahead and upload the playlist right here so you can check that out, because it's pretty fun. I just have felt, and this is a whole other video, that I'm just seeing the same things over and over again, and this palette to me felt like something different. So now that I've probably chatted for like 500,000 minutes, this is what the unit carton looks like. It has these little, I don't know if you can see it, raised water droplets on here. Hello, quench that thirst. And then this is what the palette itself looks like. It has that same raised water drop effect. This is what it looks like on the inside. It did have a nice thick protective plastic shield, and then it also does have, I'll take this off now, a nice mirror. Let's get real though, while I love this for tutorials that it does go back, like if I'm doing my makeup, I'm probably for the most part not gonna use the mirror, but it is a nice mirror. The top row is nice, warm, matte, peachy shades, very on trend. And then down here you have more matte shades, 5 of them as well. They are a bit more in the cool toned family. And you guys, I don't know if it's the arrangement of these shades, but this palette just spoke to me. Like, I have not gotten more excited about a palette or any kind of a launch up until now. There are also 5 metallic shades, and I know he'd said that it was a new formula and it was meant to be used with your fingers, but I don't think I realized that there was so much glitter. There is a ton of glitter in here. If you like glitter, then you're good to go. If you don't love, I mean, we're talking large particle glitter. We're not talking microflex. We're talking large chunks of glitter. If you're not into that, I don't know you guys, but you get 5 of those. So in all, you are getting 15 shades and it retails for $48. When I first saw this, it really did remind me of the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. If you haven't seen that, I'll make sure I put it here so you can see them side by side. And I wasn't sure which palette I wanted to do. I almost did a video asking you guys your thoughts and opinions on which one I should purchase, because like I honestly was down the middle, but I felt like I did not need both. And in the end, just looking at the palette, I was so into these shades and this orange right here. And then I know that these are not the most exciting looking metallics, but the way that they were being talked about and being super metallic and blinding, I was just intrigued and I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm also just not sure about Jeffree as a person. If you guys don't know Jeffree Star, I touched on this in my last video, my revisiting Colourpop video. I do have a lot of friends and family that follow me and are subscribed to me and watch my videos, and they don't know, they don't follow all of these things going on in the beauty community. So for them, it's just another cosmetic line. They don't know Jeffree Star, the influencer, the person. And there is a lot of controversy surrounding him. His past is kind of, he's been accused of being racist, and there's all of these other things. So I've been hesitant to try any of Jeffree's products, but this one, the curiosity, it was just too much. Like I had to try it. After using the palette for quite a few days, almost a week now, trying out different looks, I wanted to try to be able to create some more wearable looks, and the fact that every single metallic shade in there has that glitter is just a little troublesome for me, because sometimes I just want to swipe a little bit of shimmer on there and not have to worry about a ton of glitter fallout, because as you'll see in my demo, like that is something you have to prepare for. You have to put some loose powder on or do your eyes first. And the way that I do my makeup the fastest is like when I do my eyes last and I concentrate on the skin. If I'm gonna put time into anything, when I'm going quickly, I want my skin to look perfect. So that for me was just kind of disappointing. And then also these shades right here, which you will see again in my demo, they didn't pop the way I wanted them to pop. The yellow in the pan is much brighter. I mean, I could have tried using a white base, but I couldn't find it. So I just used concealer, and it still got lost in my opinion. It wasn't like popping the way I wanted it to. And similarly, the splurge color, I don't know if it's oxidizing, but it gets lost. It's almost like it darkens and it just kind of blends into the splash color. Splash was really pretty, but you definitely had to build it up. The Jaclyn Hill palette has a color in there that's really similar, and I feel like it performs better. I mean, if I'm being honest, if you like Jaclyn Hill or you don't like Jaclyn Hill, I'm just talking about being a consumer and spending money on makeup. That Jaclyn Hill palette for me has been the benchmark. I can use that palette for anything and everything. Like I can just take that palette with me. I could be good for the rest of my life. I said that. If you follow me on Instagram, I said that in my stories recently. That is my holy grail palette. It's just, I haven't found anything really that compares to it. I know that is a 35 pan palette, so not everybody needs 35 shades, so you are somewhat limited when you have less, but maybe I could have just had like this one right here with the big glitter, because it does look really, really pretty. This shade kind of gets lost a little bit. I would have liked to be able to put in some other color ranges. These two, they're just too similar. This one gets lost when it goes on your eyes. I would have loved a warm chocolatey cocoa color to be incorporated, a really good deep pigmented black, because oftentimes I just like to go in and use a deep chocolate or black to use as eyeliner. I don't love having to pull out 20 different palettes to do an eye look, and this on its own is hard because I feel like I want to bring in other shades. So let's go ahead and get into the demo so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to swatch the eyeshadows because I'm sure at this point you can look up a million swatches, and I'm so over swatches. I feel like they don't accurately represent the way the shadows are gonna perform on your eyelid. And I know it's been said, but it's really how I feel, so I'm not gonna do it. All right, so let's do this demo. All right, so now that my eyelids are prepped with my Colourpop No Filter Primer in the shade Light Neutral, I think I'm gonna go in with a combination of kumquat and taste buds on my brush and just go ahead and do that into the transition area. Now these are shades that I've used before, and I do find them to be super pigmented and easily blendable. I think that taste buds could use a little bit more oomph on its own, and I'll go ahead, I'll show you on the other eye. That's kind of why I decided to mix it right out the gate with kumquat, because it doesn't give me exactly. There you go. This is just taste buds. It's just really soft on its own. One thing I will say that's a little frustrating with these shades up in the top region here, just all these peachy shades, each shade tends to just get a little bit lost once they are blended into each other. So far, that's pretty effortlessly blended. I don't want this look to be too warm because I am going to go in with the blues and the teals, so I think I am going to dip into Settle right here and just cool it down a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but when I had first started playing with this palette, I did say that I felt like the formulas of these mattes are gorgeous. So I have not played with this shade yet, and it is really pretty. It's very light, it's subtle, just like what it says. I'm gonna dip into Splash right here. I'm gonna use a synthetic packing brush for this one, just because I really want this to have a real opaque color payoff. And I don't know if that's the way to go. There is a little bit of kick up. Oh, there we go. And I'm just taking that on the outer half of the lid. Then you know what, actually, I think I wanna bring it in at 3/4 of the way now that I'm looking at it. So I don't know if you can see, but you can definitely, by patting it like this, you can definitely build it up. This shade, which is not surprising, is definitely harder to work with than those warmer orangey tones, peachy tones. And a lot of times that's because they have to use white as a base, so it can just get a little bit tricky. It did muddy out blending into those orangey shades, but that's okay. It's not surprising. I'm thinking I want to pop into Submerge, and just where it is a little bit muddy right there, pop it right there, doing the same patting technique. This one doesn't seem to have as much kick up in the pan. I think I'm gonna try, I wanted it to be just a little bit more popping, if that makes sense. I'm gonna try and just use my finger to build it up a little bit. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the difference if the camera's picking that up, but that's what I was going for. When in doubt, use your finger. I'm gonna do the same thing with Splash. Yeah, that looks really pretty. I don't know if you can see that nice gradient that it created. Before we move on, I'm just gonna go back into this same brush that I used in Subtle, this taupey shade, and I'm gonna go ahead and deepen up that crease a little bit, but I don't wanna take away from that mint green and teal. Just be careful not to muddy it out. I'm trying to use as many shades as possible. I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip into Drizzle, and I wanna do that ever so slightly, just kind of like on this outer corner. Not a lot of kick up there. And this shade looks quite similar to subtle, but it's just a little deeper. And I mean, I think it works with this look actually, but in creating other looks, I think a warmer toned brown, like a richer warmer toned brown, would have been nice to have in this palette. And then I'm just gonna kind of wrap that, what's left on the brush, under my eye. I'm gonna ever so slightly dip my brush into Perched and just kind of blend out. Don't want any harshness. I just want to diffuse that color up here. I went ahead and I grabbed my NYX Mixing Medium. You guys, this is awesome. Props to Alyssa Ashley for mentioning this in a video. I think it was actually quite a while back. You guys, this stuff, especially if you have hooded lids, it is incredible. You can use it with glitters. If you usually get transfer, even with like your liner or shadows up on to this part of your lid because they're hooded, this keeps your stuff in place like nobody's business. It's amazing. I also turn lots of my eyeshadows and pigments into eyeliner with it. It's so good, and it's like $7, I think. So I'm gonna pop a little bit right in this inner corner, and I'm just kind of like bouncing it where I'm gonna put the glitters. They are called shimmers. At least that's what I was expecting to get, and they're 100% the all. This entire row in this palette is full of glitter. And because I have worked with the palette before, I know for certain you have to use something like a mixing medium or a glitter glue for that glitter to adhere. I'm going to put a bunch of setting powder right down here to catch the fallout of the glitter because I know inevitably that is going to happen. Let's go ahead and do Snatched, and then we'll do this color right here, Divine, right in the inner corner. It's beautiful. It's just, I wish there wasn't glitter in every single one of those metallics. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm pressing it in as opposed to like straight on rubbing it. Once I get it on, I will kind of feather it out with the finger that doesn't have any of it on, just so that we don't have any harsh lines. And then I'll go back into Splash, that teal color, with a clean finger, just to soften that transition from the matte shade into the shimmer. We want that to be nice and soft. It's very glittery. It's very glittery, and I don't know if the camera is going to pick that up. I'm gonna take a super teeny detail brush. I'm gonna put some mixing medium right on my hand, dip into the mixing medium. I've done this before and it has not ruined the shadows, so hopefully it won't. And then I'm gonna dip into Divine. And let's see what happens. Whoa, okay, cool. That worked. I want to incorporate this yellow because I haven't used it yet. Ooh, maybe I'll take, I'm gonna take this just flat definer brush. This is my Luxie Rose Gold definer brush. Let's go into Quench. Not really a ton of kickback in that shade. We're gonna go right into the inner corner with that. And I was hoping it would be a little more true to color. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it's just not as, look at it in the pan and then look at it on the eye. Like, it's just, it's not as bright. I mean, I guess I could go and get like a white base. Just didn't want to have to do that. All right, well, can't find that. So let me try something else. Let me just try popping some concealer into that inner corner really fast. You guys, I can literally see glitter, I feel like, everywhere. All right, let's pop a little bit of concealer right where I plan to pack that yellow quench color first. Oftentimes this trick works if you really have a bright shade that is not showing up as bright as it does in the pan and you want it to show up brighter. So let's see. I'm still just a bit underwhelmed by this yellow. If I'm being honest, I love the yellow in my Huda Obsessions, the electric palette. That yellow I feel like is a bit more vibrant than this one, but you can't win them all. Let's go into Submerge. That is the blue shade because I feel like if I put the Submerge on first, where it meets the yellow, it might create that teal effect a bit. And when I say the teal effect, I mean this shade that we already went in with. So let's kind of see what happens. Just playing. No, we'll put a little bit of splash right in the center. That's the teal, yeah. I just wish that Submerge, this like baby blue shade, had a bit more pop to it. But I just wish that Submerge, the baby blue shade, had a bit more pop to it, but I don't know, can't win them all. All right, then I am going to go back into Taste Buds. I might have to dip into Bitch, but I'm gonna try just doing Taste Buds using the same brush. I want to connect this outer V, and if it doesn't show up, I'll go back in. No, but I think this is working. I want it to be subtle. A subtle meetup. Nothing about this eye look is subtle. Let's face it. It'll be fun going to pick up the kids at preschool after this. But I'm like, when you spend all this time on a look, you don't want to just wash it off, right? I love looking at these shades in the palette, but when you actually combine them, I mean, and there's a little bit of color theory involved here too, where it's just like, well, duh. But if you mix too much of a shade like Taste Buds in with Submerge or Splash, it's gonna get muddy, and I don't want to lose any of that pop. I think I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and match up the other eye. Ooh. She pigmented. Like, these shades are really pretty. Now I'm going into Subtle, Splash, Submerge, like Submerge, you just really have to pack that on and build it up. Otherwise it gets lost. Like, I feel like, yeah, the fingertip is the way to go. I don't know, I like to be able to use a brush for stuff like this. But in the end, the color does look really pretty. Now I'm gonna go dip into a Subtle with a more pencil brush type situation. Drizzle, the deeper brown. I don't know if you can see, like, drizzle is just, it's not as, I don't know, it's not as rich as I would have liked it to be. And then just kind of matching up this outer corner, dip into a Parched, and just kind of blend, blend, blend. A little bit of that NYX Mixing Medium right here in the inner corners. I give it about 30 seconds to dry down a bit, and we'll go into Snatched. Forgot to put my powder haul. that is really pretty. All right, now I'm going to dip into my concealer and just pop in my inner corners where I want to put the yellow, pop it right over the top. It almost looks brighter on that side to me. Weird. Go into Splash and then grab a Submerge and just kind of going back in. You really have to tap that one on, I think. Weird. All right, and then we are gonna go into Taste Buds. Whoops, that's bitch. We're gonna go and hit Taste Buds right here. And just like last time. Now with the synthetic pencil brush that I have wiped away everything off of, I am just gonna blend real carefully, making sure that I don't go too close to those bright colors because I don't want to lose that, but I don't want it to look just like a line. I want it to be soft. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just brush away the powder now. Definitely get fallout with the glitter. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and pop on some liner, some mascara, and some lip gloss and come back to say bye. All right, guys, that is the finished look. I think you can probably gather that my overall thoughts on the palette are pretty mixed. I hate ever saying this, but I'm always gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think it's worth the money. I think some of those beautiful peachy colors that I really enjoyed are in lots of other palettes or even in my blushes. While I was super drawn to these 3 shades at first glance, they just didn't really perform. I just really had to build them up. They didn't perform the way that I wanted them to. I'm also not loving this row right here with the exception of this silver shade just because of the glitter. I did love this top row, but when you're paying $48, I don't think it's worth it. So that's what I have to say about that. I do think that I'm gonna go ahead and try out the Violet Voss Flamingo palette. So if you would like to see a review on that or a look on that, please comment down below. I am planning, because I had a ton of people wanting to know how I created this look right here. So I will go ahead and make sure I film a tutorial on that rosy, glowy summer look. Unfortunately, my tutorial type videos don't usually get a ton of views, and I'm not doing this solely for the views, but when you put in the time and the effort, you do want your video to be seen. So if you like what you see, definitely be sure to give me a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button because it really helps me out. It helps the algorithm push forward my videos so that people see it. If you want to share my videos, that is a huge help too. And lastly, be sure to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each and every time I post a video, because I know YouTube has been having issues lately, and if you don't hit that bell, then you might not know that I have uploaded. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!